In this video, we'll take up the homework on function notation. So let's see. For the first question, they basically gave us the functions and the input. So we just have to find the output. So like w of 5, h of 2, w of negative 4, f of 9, and f of 2. As long as you follow BEDMAS, you should be okay and get the right answer. Yeah, nothing crazy for number one. Now, number two, they actually give you the output value, and your job is to find the input value. Okay, so once again, you know the output, and you're trying to solve for the input. Just be careful for D, it's plus minus here. Okay, when you square root both sides, T is plus or minus 4. So you have two input values that can give you an output of 18. All right, for question 3, you're just basically reading the graph. So f of negative 5 is, what's the y coordinate when x is negative 5? F of negative 3, what's the y coordinate when x is negative 3? And then so forth and so on. Now, if they give you f of x, like for example for E, 3e, they say f of x equals 4. That's basically saying, when the y coordinate is 4, what is x? So they either give you the x coordinate and ask you for what the y coordinate is, or the other way around. For question 4, you're just doing some expanding. So f of n plus 1, and then subtract that by f of n. So I simplified it. Well, I factored out half n plus 1 because that's a common factor. But if you didn't do it that way, it's fine. You can do it lots of different ways to expand and simplify this, but you should simplify to n plus 1. Okay. For number 5, you're given f, you're given g. So 2f of x plus g of x, you can simplify that because once again, you know what f is, you know what g is. Yeah, for B is f of g of x and g of f of x. That's for C. Be very careful. F of g of x and g of f of x are not the same. I mean, they could be the same, but if f of g of x and g of f of x are the same, that actually tells you a special relationship between f and g. But I would argue in most cases, f of g of x and g of f of x is not the same. So certainly do not assume that once you find f of g, it's the same as g of f. All right, so that's the homework for our function notation.